Beloved star, welcome to Immortal Starlight Pod episode 30. I can't believe we've made it to 30. I'm disproportionately excited about it being 30. I guess that's partly because before my own journey of remembrance and return, before this return of my own multidimensional soul star and being, I was someone who found it so hard to be consistent and to stay with the things that I was creating and to stay with believing in myself and in my own visions and perception upon reality. And I would so often start things and then let go of them, and to have the continuum within physical reality of creation here is a really big deal for me. Something that I feel so much gratitude and wonder, because within my deeper dream and soul star, it is my dream to really to be here and to be a stable presence that brings light and upliftment and that shares what flows through and is here, really here. So yeah, it speaks very much to my deeper dream that we have reached Immortal Starlight Pod 30, and long may the realms of the Immortal Starlight Pod continue to unfold. My dream is to be able to be here, to be consistent for you and for the light that we are in our return. So with that, this pod is a pod in which I would love to introduce and to share the fairy tale, the legend of the Silver Wheel. And both, if you have already known and loved the Silver Wheel, then this might be a really lovely chance to, hear how I have come to carry this, how I hold it in the now, and to hear its fairy tale or legend in one breath, just in one moment, what is held within it. And for those who haven't read the Silver Wheel, who don't know of it, this would be an introduction. So to recap, I guess, on the Silver Wheel for a moment, I really felt this pod. It came in actually last week when I was sharing the initiation of the Gold Galactic Butterfly, the Way of the Divine Messenger. For those of us who, as these divine messengers of parallel dimensions, worlds of light, here for the dawn, carrying the wisdom, the elder records that we carry, the ways, the remembrance, the simple deep knowing of another way of existence that we are here to bring, here to share for this new age of light. And as I brought that through, I received the guidance that in this one I would share the Silver Wheel. And I felt this pod, if you like, we're sitting together in the kota, the tent of White Reindeer Woman in the north. It's an aspect of my own oversoul and avatar presence. And the fire is here with us, burning and telling the legend and the fairy tale of the Silver Wheel. And this legend, this fairy tale of the Silver Wheel, is one that has been gifted to me through my own path as that divine messenger, as that one following the way of Arwen, of my own divine inspiration and remembrance. And it haunted, overlit, ignited, illuminated all of the years of my life, really, from the age of about 20 through to my early 30s. And in those years, I again and again resurrected this path within myself. As I say, for me, it was always very challenging to stay with things, very challenging before my oversoul essence had really returned and arrived here, that it was very hard to follow through with things. So I would listen to the Silver Wheel, come back home to it, and then wander off again. And it was many years of this listening. But as I came to remember that the Silver Wheel was so the Book of the Silver Wheel is here if you're watching the pod, and I do recommend watching this one because I'd love to share the glyphs as I go around. But it was the sense that my over soul remembrance, what I had to bring here, was held in this record. A vision I had of a book clad in white deerskin, lying in the forest clearing, and within its pages, a language inscribed, a language long known by my soul and my soul star, the Elven language of light, written in gold and silver and sapphire inks, and that this was a record that was written for the age to come. And as I remembered more and more deeply, it was the remembrance of a time in Lemuria, towards the ending of the great age of Lemuria, that we formed this grove of trees that came from another world, but that grew through the great aeon of Lemuria, and that recorded its aeons, its years of sunlight, of starlight, of rainfall, of moonlight, the fall of the leaves through the seasons, the rising of the flowers in the grove, the record of the consciousness of Lemuria inscribed within the memory banks of the grove and the crystals that were placed at the base of each of these great white trees. And this Elven grove literally grew in order to transcribe, to build the memory banks held within the silver wheel. It was forming a great interdimensional mandala of knowing, of remembrance, and even more so a prophecy of light that was being recorded for us, a vehicle of light being recorded for us for this age now, in this now moment, for those of us carrying the great ages of this remembrance, this elder and Elven and beyond record of the great diamond suns of earth, of all that's been, of all that she truly is, those of us who carried that light, that this silver wheel was being created, transcribed, in order, this record made so that it would be here on the earth at this time for those of us destined to light up as the stars of the dawn, to lead the way for a new era of light, to unlock our memory banks of our deepest wisdom for this new era of light. And so Silver Wheel was always created of us and for us. And I always had the sense, as I transcribed it, as I received it, that I was receiving a voice more than just my own. And as this grove completed its great role, the deer came and offered herself at the heart of the clearing, and gave herself as the covers, forming the deerskin covers of the book, in which then the bark of the trees descended, forming the pages of the Book of Starlight. And this record was then transferred into the seventh dimensional realm of Venus and held until I incarnated again in this lifetime to be the one who was the transcriber, the quill, if you like, of this record, and began receiving it, again, as we are walking the days of my life, walking through in so many ways, unknowing through the initiations that I walked. And this record gradually delivering itself, gifting itself through my days and nights, through the years of my remembering of the silver wheel. And I knew as I received this, I felt how much it was a record and a voice beyond simply my own. And it felt that it was the record of those of us, of the people of the sun, the people of the stars, the people of these great cycles of light who are incarnating once more to bring this great remembrance of all that Earth is destined to become and all that she has been. And so as this book came into this world, and I would often, when I would give up transcribing this, I would start looking for it. I think someone must have already recorded. And while I found many incredible books of Starlight along the way, this one I found did not yet exist. And I knew that unless I transcribed it, it wouldn't exist here. And I would see it. I would see it on the pages of the bookshop. Like I could see it glowing there, and I knew what it would feel like to come across it. And its form really has come into that way. So as I hold it now, if you're watching the video up again, I saw it as this white cover and the golden glow of the words upon its cover, how it felt something both future and ancient all at once, and how as you touched it, it would be aglow with the sentience of the wisdom that it held within, It was a living presence. And so it has come to feel. And what was amazing is once it was actually created and published, people would write to me of having that experience, from bookshops in the middle of Australia, in the middle of deepest mountains, in Australia, in Canada, in the US, writing to say, yeah, and in the UK here, I stumbled across it. I found it, and I just knew I was meant to have this book, to read this book. And so the prophecy fulfilled, the prophecy within its pages. But as we come together now, as I speak of this, I knew I was transcribing something way ahead of me. And I've been growing into it ever since, even as it was published and came into physical being, and I held it for the first time. I still felt and knew how much it lay beyond me. My mind here couldn't encompass all that it held within its pages. I couldn't hold its awareness here within me in my heart and mind. That's been a great journey of the last 7 years or so, ever since it was published, to become one who actually calibrates to the level of embodiment where I am able to hold this wisdom within me. And it's still a journey, I believe, an internal journey of return, of remembrance, of becoming. So that's why I'm taking the opportunity for Immortal Pod 30, that feels a special number, and to follow through on the guidance to share this, because it's quite a special moment to be able to say, and I'm going to try and just run through it quite briefly, all that the silver wheel holds, just to give that fairy tale, that legend that it holds in its pages. Because for me, it was receiving this vaster oversoul consciousness so beyond my own. And it was like a great spinning silver mandala of light of our Elder Starlight sentience and knowing as divine immortal starlight souls of who we truly are and what it means to return upon the earth at this time for the dawn. So I am in a place now where I can feel it. I can feel it in my heart here and hold it here. There is still growth into its mystery, but I'd love to share that with you now. So yeah, with this, there was one more thing I wanted to share with that my own elder sigil, so the symbol of my soul, and if you like, my medicine symbol for this lifetime, is of, if you imagine a landscape where the mountains are rising, the snowy peaked mountains, and beyond is shining the light of the rising sun and the moon, the crescent moon overhead. And beneath the mountains are the lakes, the waters upon which the swans drift. And more than drifting, as I saw the vision of my own elder sigil, the symbol of my own soul for this lifetime, that there is the grace of the feminine swan upon the waters. She is there alit, she's already landed, and landing in with her, coming to rest with her, is that masculine swan. And together they form that arch, as their foreheads meet, and they form that arch and that heart shape together. And it is that great reunion of the divine feminine, the divine masculine within. And with that synchronization of the dimensions of ourselves, that the feminine aspect of our being, that anima, if you like, is that one who first and foremost is able, man, woman, whoever we are, to receive, to bring through the deepest remembrance and vision, the knowing of that which we are. And that the divine masculine aspect of our being, whoever we are, man, woman, synchronizes, begins, comes in to receive, to bring this through effective action, through the divine knowing of the masculine aspect of the soul and of who we are, synchronizes. And for me, that's also the mind aspect, coming into harmonization with the heart and really knowing here all that our greater remembrance and greater mystery holds, that both parts of ourselves being in synchronization, heart and mind. And for me, that moment of being able to express the silver wheel here is a moment of such synchronization. So whilst with our return, so often we feel we are accessing, we're going beyond what we could express or know here, and what our here personality self is able to really understand. But I believe as the dawn, and as I'm experiencing, as the dawn progresses, as our ascension and our return progresses, we experience more and more coherence within the self. All aspects of our being, our deeds, our actions, our outer mind harmonizing with our greater remembrance. We become one once more within ourselves, at peace with our multidimensionality, with our oversoul consciousness, really operating in this deep field of coherence. And so this for me is part of what it means for those swans to come together on the waters of Immortal Starlight, with the mountains overhead and the sun and the moon present also. So with this, I'd love to run through, and I'm going to challenge myself in this moment to do it quite briefly and succinctly, to tell in a moment, in a breath, the story, the legend, the fairy tale of the silver wheel. So with this, with the silver wheel, so if you're watching the video, I'm holding up the beautiful mandala that has the glyphs of the silver wheel upon it. And we begin here. The silver wheel, the legend, the fairy tale is of our return. As those who hold ancient wisdom of the great starlight eras of earth, of the diamond suns, that we are, in our remembrance, in our return, the keystones of the new earth. And we find ourselves through our days and nights, through our initiations, that the earth herself is gifting to us, remembering as those swan feathers drifted down one at a time, reconfiguring this swan feather cloak upon our shoulders. And we remember ourselves as galactic, as angelic messengers of worlds, carrying so much, and not least the lost temples of earth, of all that she truly is. So it is the return of the shining ones, of the people of the sun, of the people of the stars, of parallel universes, dimensions of light, who hold the realized wisdom of love within our hearts and of source consciousness. Now, in many ways, we are one, we are all. There are those who may be remembering in this now moment. We are simply that part of the whole, remembering itself in this now moment. And we are one, we are all, every part of creation, all souls. We are all this. But for those remembering in this now moment, we are that part of that whole that is, if you like, returning the swan feather cloaks upon our shoulders, bringing the ancient wisdom, the ways of love upon this earth once more. And that as we awaken and return, we remember with this second glyph that there are great ages of starlight that have been before, and that this new age of starlight that we are entering into, a great new age woven in a deep harmonic with our galactic plane and beyond, and that this harmonic has existed before in great diamond suns upon the earth. We are remembering that there are foundations of immortal starlight within the earth, and that those pods, those time capsules of ancient sunlight, are breaking open in the light of the new dawn. And so these beautiful foundations are woven through and within us, even as we enter the new dawn of an age of light. So there is much that supports us as we return as those ones, those people of the sun, those people of the stars of beyond. And not least with the third glyph, that we come together. We are not alone. We have come in our soul clans, our star clusters. As those returning from parallel universes of light, we come not alone, but with one another. We may not all be in human incarnate form. We may be expressing through different forms, but we are here together, and we are not identical one to another. As you come together with your soul clan, your star cluster for the dawn, they may be quite different to you. And that will bring edges, it will bring awkwardnesses, it will bring the most wonderful delight of what we create when we come together. And it's beyond any individual. So our star clusters are defined by holding different notes of this one symphony, this one song, and we are here not alone. So we flow through to the fourth glyph, which is that our remembrance, our knowing, this sentience of who we truly are, comes to us through our feeling bodies, as a music, as a felt music, the tonal notes, the feelings of who you are. And as we ascend, as we return to ourselves, we trust this more and more. And this song of starlight, this sentience, this music, this feeling that moves through us, that first and foremost, it comes to us this way. And more we learn to trust our feeling bodies. So it can be quite an ethereal return at first. And we really learn to trust that, to track that with the return of the new earth, of this new age we're bringing through. We learn to trust this. And with this, our language of light, our language of starlight begins to speak through us. The gold galactic butterflies of our greater sentience, of our greater language of starlight begins to sound through us. We trust it more and more. And with this return of our language of starlight, of learning to listen to ourselves, how we truly feel, that which is ethereal and yet so powerful, the way that the dawn returns through us, we come to the fifth glyph, and this is the glyph of the teachings of the grove, that the trees upon the earth, the trees and the groves, are really here to support us in the remembrance of who we truly are and what our divine and cosmic purpose for the dawn is. The trees, the sacred groves, are absolutely central to our return. And not least, they connect us to the silver grove of the stars that is woven around the earth, to which we may ascend in order to, we may go to that grove of silver trees woven all around the earth to ask, who am I for the dawn? What is my cosmic purpose? What am I truly here for? And in so doing, we remember our own unique and cosmic purpose that is part of a much, much deeper sphere of interconnection. And flowing through round, she is moving apace. I'm actually fulfilling what I hope to do. This is that result of the hemispheres of my brain weaving together over time, and of that heart and mind coming together. And it really does come, our furthest remembrance, what at first you can only feel when you're in a very altered state, becomes more and more what you can hold in sentience here. So to come to the sixth glyph, this is that the returning field of our being, of who we are, so much resembles the beauty of the flowers. And the flowers, like the trees, are absolutely central to our return, to the ascension we are experiencing, because they mirror the returning fields of the angelical geometries of our light bodies, of our soul star oversoul embodiment for the dawn. So when you see a flower, when you smell the fragrance of a flower that really, really moves you, you are experiencing how you truly appear at the angelic level, and the returning field of your starflower aura, of your light body for the dawn. And just like the flowers, we need to nourish this with the natural frequencies of earth, with her waters, her rhythms, her cadences, her nutrients. And this really accelerates and deepens your own return and your own oversoul embodiment, really walking here in your immortal starlight in physical form. So flowing on now around to the seventh glyph, this is the glyph of the wisdom of the waters, of giving and receiving. And that is that we as deeply need to, as we awaken, as the people of the swan, of the people of the stars awaken, remembering that we come from beyond. We awaken with that first glyph, realizing we carry so much more than it seems from this lifetime. We carry wisdom from beyond. We begin to remember who we are and where we come from. and where you come from. Your home world is the key to who you are here for the dawn, and you need the sustenance of that deepest return. So this glyph shines opposite in the realm of the west, the realm of the east, from which we emerge. We start with the silver wheel, that we flow deeply as we remember more and more deeply into our home world, where we come from in source, our home frequency resonance in the light. And actually, you really need that. You really need to let yourself rest in the frequency of home, to go all the way out there, back home to your home in the starlight, to remember, to nourish, to receive that frequency, that knowing of your home worlds, star worlds, your provenance in the light. And it is in so doing, and just like the waters, the lakes need to fill, the wells need to fill in order for the flow of the rivers, the filling of the oceans, that when you let yourself do this, fill up with the light as that star of stars beyond this world, of the one who you are, that is when you can most truly gift yourself. That is when you begin to gift your truest gift here. So that we are always, that we need to be in this flow of giving and receiving. But if you hold back, if you fill up with that deepest light of who you are, of your remembrance, and you don't gift that here, then that flow is stopped. The flow breaks down. So we need to receive, and we actually need as deeply to gift. That you allow your swan feather wings, your swan feather cloak to alight here, your deepest purity of who you are here to alight here and be gifted. And that brings us to the 8th glyph, which is the teaching of Grandmother Turtle of the earth. This, at her true level, as earth is designed in her deepest light, her own celestial soul star being, she is designed to receive your starlight arriving here, the one who you are. This is what she longs for you to arrive in the simplicity of your truest essence. You are enough and more than enough in who you truly are. She asks nothing more and nothing less. And in so doing, her miracle can arrive, for she is truly infinite, interdimensional, beyond all imagining, beyond all limit, 3D limit we have placed upon her. And we need to let go of our projections of survival fear, of the 3D earth, of the physical plane, and to remember, to understand, to arrive to the infinite and interdimensional earth, who she truly is, and to bring our own true presence to her. So when we do this, she meets us 1,000-fold with the miracle and the grace of her own infinite nature. And she gets to take care of us in the way that she truly longs for her realms long to meet us, if we will bring the star of who we truly are here. For she is literally designed to co-create with us, for our home world to arise here as the homeland, for the golden starred earth to arise as the homeland. And so this brings us to the 9th glyph, which is that as you remember who you are, as you bring that light here truly, that you will find many of your old dreams of what you thought you hoped for before, of who you thought you were, will simply start falling away, will not seem relevant anymore. So much of what you thought you desired or wanted, what you were heading towards, the reality you thought you were creating, begins to fall away. And the 9th glyph, if you like, is the glyph of that dissolution. And it's one of the great challenges of our ascension and return, is that it can be so bewildering to feel the construct of the identity of who we thought we were. When we bring ourselves as who we truly are to earth, that all begins to fall away. And that instead of trying to hold it all together, to hold the old dream together, that we are willing to travel even deeper into the light of source, into the infinity of I am presence, of our divine light, and to ask of source, of the heart of all that is. Who would you love me to become? What dream would you love me to bring to earth? What would you love me to fulfill? And we go all the way, we travel still further into the light of source, of the divine, and we surrender everything to be, to become that one we are called to become for the dawn. So if you like, this is the light of that vision quest into the heart of source, to ask, who would you love me to be for the dawn? What would you love me to bring? And the 10th glyph that stands nobly here in the north is that of our non-judgment, of that as we receive that vision, that golden vision for the dawn of who we're asked to be here, that we drop our judgment mind, that it will go beyond everything we've been conditioned and entrained to believe is right or wrong. With here we let go of our hopes and our dreams and of who we thought we were. And here we let go of the conditioning of what we've been told we should be, of what's right, of what's wrong, of how much power and light and love we can hold and be and become here. The limits, the definitions, the spiritual systems we've placed upon ourselves. Because with that I am return of that divine presence, none of that pertains. We are not held by the old spiritual constructs. I spoke of this in the last pod. We begin to move within the light of our own soul star presence, our own deepest divine knowing. As it says here, this is when our wings truly ignite. We are moving within the grace of our own deeper wisdom and sentience from a profoundly non-dual level, the light of the heart of creation, beyond the old rift of the light and the dark. And all of those old shoulds and should nots begin to dissolve away. And this is a great initiation and passage for starlight souls to release these. And that, if you like, we are now in the passage, from here you've gone all the way home and you've chosen to descend and arrive to earth once more, but arrive to Oriel, to earth, to Gaia, to Tara, to that interdimensional earth, returning for the dawn, her light-seeded diamond golden architectures of the immortal starlight. And you are one of her returning dimensions, that seed of her first light, of her diamond golden worlds returning. And you will seed that within the heart of the stardust of your ordinary existence. It will be in the innermost heart of the life that you live. And this is that the teaching of this glyph, the 11th, is that our ordinary life, our mundane life, holds the true track and imprint of our spiritual development. And with our ascension, we will indeed travel far out from it, far out beyond. The light of the silver wheel guides us to travel beyond and beyond. We really let go of the coordinates of all we've thought we held on to, all we thought we were. We return into the starlight of all that we truly are and all that the earth truly is. And we bring all of that back through to the heart of the ordinary, the mundane, who we are here. And that greater starlight of the I am presence, celestial overstole presence, begins to recode everything here within the heart of our physical existence and our ordinary lives, and to be the instrument of that, to let that happen. So we, at this point, we really know that we no longer ignore that ground. We might have had to leave it far behind at some points in order to remember, but we come right back to it with the light that we are. And with that, we come to the 12th glyph. With that, seeing the time, it's 14:14. There is this seeding, this generating, this creating of the new template of the new human. We bring that all the way here. You bring the star codes of your people, of your home world here. It is coded through. You anchor that within your being. You walk the earth as the miracle of immortal starlight in physical presence once more, and you seed that for the generations to come. You seed that radical metamorphosis for the generations to come. So the teaching of this glyph is that it is nothing less than this radical metamorphosis for the generations to come. And we come to the center, and this is the 13th glyph of the silver wheel, and it is this diamond shape within the circle, the 13th glyph. And this is the end of our epic legend and fairy tale of our return. For, as you can feel, it is nothing less. It truly is nothing less. And this is that through those actions, there will be moments in your life when the vision that you were given here, when you asked of Source of Spirit, who am I to become here for all the worlds, for the dawn, for the immortal starlight, the diamond return, for this wave of evolution for all realms, who am I to be, to become, what am I to bring for the earth at this time? And there will be moments when you are able to fulfill this, when the timeline presents the simple physical action or creation point occurs, the choice point for you. Will you actually give your hands and your heart here to that? At those thresholds, you will meet your deepest terrors. At that simplest and most profound threshold that is the threshold of diamond. It is the threshold, because at the threshold of diamond, all of this becomes real. All that we're talking about, the return of the Shining Ones that was ignited here at the beginning, the return of the Shining Ones for the dawn, the return of the immortal starlight at earth, the return of the lost temples of the dawn, the return of another great diamond sun, age of peace upon earth, all that was set forth in motion at this diamond threshold. This is where that becomes real, and it becomes real at that threshold of a myriad of what might seem infinitely small or great moments in our lives. And at that threshold, each of us is alone, is profoundly and deeply alone, because it is the power of sovereign choice, our sovereign free will choice. Do I write that last word of the silver wheel and press the send button, send it to the publisher? I can't tell you, I still remember that moment, sitting at my desk, literally sweating, my finger trembling over the key for how long, I do not know, but it was a long while. And at that point, there is no more reassurance from our guides. There is no more transcendent guidance to be received, because by the very nature of creation and our own free will, it belongs to our free will alone, that moment, to us here as the hands and hearts of a unique incarnate being and soul within creation. Do I follow through? Do I complete this that I've been guided to? And so the full majesty is accomplished often in these moments of our solitude, in what might seem like small moments, when there is literally no further trumpet sounding, there's no further fanfare or beautiful divine guidance pouring through. It is just us. And in this, the immensity of this legend, of this fairy tale, is accomplished. And our power is truly immense at this threshold. And that is why our demons, our fears will present so deeply in that place. Everything that wants to hold us back, that great tide of that which has no interest in this ascension, that has no interest in our return, that has no interest in our sovereign and divine liberation for all the worlds, will confront us at that threshold. But it's not a time for more healing. It's not a time for more fixing of anything. It is simply the moment of the enactment of our own sovereign, divine free will and following through. And with that, the prophecy is accomplished. The diamond, immortal starlight, many-starred earth returns. The great architectures of the golden lands are reseeded. Her infinite and immortal starlight, star, sun of all worlds, presence and physical becoming as that star, that sun that she is accomplished. The earth returns in a diamond era as never before, the era of eras, of El Ashima, of the age that is come. And so this is the legend, this is the fairy tale of the silver wheel, of the people of the stars, the people of peace, the people of the swan, those of us who from parallel dimensions, galaxies of light have long loved the earth, and we have returned for this time. We are that part of the heart of the one that brings this part. We are the Romans who remember the diamond suns, the lost temples through whom they return, and the golden starred lands of earth arise once more. And it will be through those unique and sovereign inspirations and callings of your heart. And they are so, so powerful. That for me is the main message of the silver wheel. The elders of the dawn, it's not about our huge, great superpowers. We may have them, we are, but it's in our willingness to follow through on our visions. That is our greatest superpower of all. That moment of that diamond threshold. And so with this, so much power, so much grace. So having shared with you the wisdom, the fairy tale of the silver wheel, its legend, I hope this brings inspiration, that it brings benefit to you for all the worlds. You are so beautiful, you bring so much. And yeah, the greatest illusion we can suffer is the loss of that awareness, that we give away ourselves, we give away our power, that we forget how immense and unique the power of what we hold is, that we allow that to become elided, to disappear, for it to be dissolved away and kind of diluted, so that we stay close to the visions within our hearts and stay very, very present to the sovereign stream of who we are, allowing that to be gifted for all the realms. So much love, and I shall see you in the next pod to come. Farewell for now.